In Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine's manipulation of Anakin Skywalker comes to fruition and turns him over to the dark side. Shortly after Anakin is turned, Padme gives birth to Luke and Leia, and the rest is history. It is not stated whether Palpatine knew that Padme was pregnant with Anakin's children, but I think we can safely assume he did. Why didn't Palpatine want to exploit Anakin's children? This raises the question, what if Palpatine waited until Luke and Leia were born? Anakin's nightmares of Padme dying were a key factor that resulted in his turn to the dark side. He couldn't let what happened to his mother happen to Padme. Padme was everything to him, and without her, he was nothing. If Palpatine was planning on waiting until Anakin's children were born, he wouldn't have planted the dreams of Padme dying in Anakin. This was a key part of his manipulation, and without it, it would be very flawed. It's no secret that Anakin was power hungry, but in Revenge of the Sith, a main contribution to this was his need to gain power in order to save Padme's life. This further led to resentment of the Council because he believed they were keeping things from him, which ultimately led to his fallout with the Council. This was further compounded by Palpatine planting the seeds in Anakin that the Council feared his power, and that was the reason for them not making him a Jedi Master. We will start the story off with Padme giving birth. In the most prestigious hospital on Coruscant, one night Padme Amidala gives birth in the presence of her family as well as Anakin Skywalker, her husband. She successfully gives birth to the twins, Luke and Leia. Luke and Leia are born strong in the Force, as they are the children of the Chosen One. In the middle of a council meeting, the members of the council sense Luke and Leia's presence. They sense two extremely powerful Force users all of a sudden appear on Coruscant. They all look at each other, confused. A few fear an attack from the Sith, a master and an apprentice, but Yoda disagrees with this thought, as Dooku has just been killed and thus only a master is left, but also does not sense darkness in the two Force users. Plus with Grievous's death, this would be a bold and reckless move from the Sith. They use the Force to pinpoint the location, a hospital near the Senate building. Obi-Wan, who is sitting quietly in the meeting, of course knows what is going on. He knows Padme is meant to give birth today, and although he hasn't admitted it, he is aware that Anakin and Padme are together. He knows Padme is meant to give birth today, and although he hasn't admitted it, he is aware of Anakin and Padme's relationship. He knows the two new children are Anakin Skywalkers. Mace senses a disturbance within Obi-Wan and asks him to confess what he knows. Although Obi-Wan is very loyal to Anakin, the Jedi Order is his life, and when his superior asks him for information, he must oblige. Obi-Wan admits to the Council that it is Padme who is giving birth in the hospital, and the children, twins of Anakin Skywalker's creation. Mace Windu is shocked. He knew he had a reason not to trust Skywalker for all these years. He has broken the Jedi Code. They attempt to call and summon him, but he doesn't answer. After Padme's pregnancy, Anakin spends the first day with her at their home, with the children. He ignores every call from the Jedi. This is more important to him. After a day, Obi-Wan comes to their house. Anakin is surprised to see him and initially greets him outside, as he doesn't want Obi-Wan to see or sense the children. Obi-Wan realizes this and tells Anakin that he knows and he has bad news. He explains how while Padme was giving birth, the children were sensed by the Council, and he was forced to explain the truth. Anakin feels angry and betrayed. Obi-Wan says that the Council has summoned him, but before he finishes his sentence, Anakin asks him to leave, in which he does. Anakin rushes inside and explains the situation to Padme. She comforts Anakin and explains how everything is going to be okay. She is having to take a break from the Senate anyways, given her birth. Anakin tells her that he was always willing to leave the Order for her, and now more than ever, after the birth of their children. He just fears that the Jedi will want to take Luke and Leia. Eventually Anakin will make his way in front of the Council. He walks in and sends the Masters dry looks as they look upon him with disgust. Mace explains the situation and asks Anakin whether any of it is true, and in confidence, he says it is. Yoda explains how this is disturbing and a direct violation of the Jedi Code, and is surprised Anakin did all of this knowing so. Mace asks Anakin if he had anything to add. Anakin explains how his love for Padme began all those years ago on Tatooine, and has been strong ever since. He elaborates saying that they had been married for many years now, and this has not affected his Jedi training, and he has still made many advancements in the Force. However, Windu did not see it this way. He explains how Anakin deceived them all, and how he had sensed something off about Anakin all this time. It has corrupted his Jedi training, and he has broken every Jedi code. He finishes, and the Council has decided that Anakin is expelled from the Order and must give up his lightsaber. Anakin gives one last look to Obi-Wan, who is sitting with his head down. He cannot bear to face Anakin. Anakin stands there momentarily, the thoughts of resisting flooding through his head. He comes to reason and hands over his lightsaber and confidently leaves the council chambers with his head high. The news of Anakin being expelled from the Jedi Order travels around the galaxy. The icon of the Republic, the pride of the Clone Wars, has been kicked out of the Order. Palpatine let this play out for a reason. This further increases the distrust in the Republic with the Jedi. I mean, how could they just kick out their best war hero? Palpatine also knew this would create conflict within the Jedi Order. Anakin was a role model to so many current Jedi Knights and Padawans. When news got out that Anakin had a wife, children, and so many attachments which is forbidden by the Jedi Code, many Jedi internally questioned this part of the Jedi Code. Could attachments be so bad if Anakin could get as powerful as he was? In this storyline, Anakin wasn't a key in Sidious's plan. He would attempt to turn Anakin, but he also would use his family to create distrust of the Jedi Order and cause some of the Jedi to lose faith in the Order. Anakin spends the next few days in his home, furious with the Jedi Order. How could they do this to him after all he had done for them? Palpatine, a friend of Anakin, invites him to come talk with him in his office. They discuss the Jedi and Palpatine admits he knew something like this would eventually happen. He explains how he believes that the Jedi used this as an excuse to kick out Anakin and that their biggest regret was allowing him to train. He explains to say they were scared of his power and knew they couldn't control him. Palpatine explains how he would never do that, how he would treat Anakin as an equal and never cast him aside. Anakin gives a confused look before Palpatine elaborates to say that if he wants true power, he should join him, and he can teach him the true path to power in the dark side. Anakin is shocked. Palpatine believes that after being betrayed by the Order, he will be most vulnerable and easily persuadable. But this isn't true. All Anakin feels is betrayal again. Betrayal from a mentor, a father figure, for all these years. But none of it was genuine. Anakin explains how he feels betrayed and would rather die than join him. Palpatine still believes there is hope for Anakin to join him, so lets him leave. Without a lightsaber, he could have easily disposed of him. Anakin goes back to his home to explain to Padme what has happened, who asks if he is going to tell the council. He explains how he is conflicted, betrayed by everyone he has ever cared about except Padme. All he cares about is his family now, nothing else. He decides not to tell the council about Palpatine's true identity, and he and Padme take the kids back to Naboo. A few weeks go by, everything stays normal. Anakin and Padme are raising their newborns with the help of Padme's family. However, it's at this point where Sidious makes his move. Half of the council is off Coruscant, notably Yoda is on Kashyyyk, as the battle against the droid army proves more difficult than expected. A few million clones on Coruscant are waiting orders, and a second attack from the droid army is imminent around the orbit of Coruscant. Sidious executes Order 66, and the clones turn on the Jedi around the galaxy. This is felt through the Force everywhere. Windu, midway through meditation, experiences physical pain through the Force. Sidious commands all clones on Coruscant to march on the Jedi Temple. The clone army fighting the droid army in space outside Coruscant are ordered to halt and let the droid army through, with 1 million droids landing on the planet and are given the same orders as the clones. There are thousands of Jedi in the temple, but can they defeat 1 million droids and 1 million clones? Sidious himself leads his forces into the temple, taking out countless Jedi by himself, as well as the clones doing the same. However, Sidious is saving his true power. He knows Windu is here, the only Jedi that has the strength to defeat him. Anakin, distant on Naboo, feels a shockwave through the Force as Order 66 is executed. Luke and Leia also show some form of pain, and Padme worryingly asks what has happened. Anakin explains how something terrible has happened. Thousands of Jedi have just died in an instant. He knows it must be Sidious. Padme looks at Anakin and asks him what he is going to do, but Anakin doesn't say anything. Padme then continues to say he must go and stop Sidious, that what he is doing is wrong, and the Jedi don't deserve to die. Anakin agrees, boards his ship and enters hyperspace to make his way towards Coruscant. As Anakin enters orbit, Sidious finally sees Mace. Sidious has the power of tremendous speed, with the use of a large amount of dark side energy, exactly what he did to quickly take out the two masters in the original timeline. Sidious and Mace stand off, and Sidious uses his burst of dark side energy to catch Mace off guard. He sends a killing strike at Mace, but he dodges it at the last second. The two engage in close quarter combat, each exchanging powerful blows. Mace is not at his full potential after having to fight off thousands of clones, but Sidious is fresh. The dark side has never been stronger. The two clash blades and hold position, trying to use brute strength to overpower the other. Sidious, with his non-dominant hand, sends force lightning crashing into Mace, who drops his lightsaber and falls to his knees. Sidious enjoys this, and he continues to use force lightning on Mace, who is squirming around the floor. Eventually, he has had enough and pierces Mace with his blade. Sidious stands over his empty corpse. A sense of joy falls over him. His main objective has succeeded. However, that quickly leaves him as he turns around to see Anakin rushing towards him, blade ignited. Sidious quickly becomes worried. He used a lot of force energy to defeat Mace, what he thought was his final task. Anakin is fresh and ready to go, and sets a high pace as he engages Sidious. The two are swinging ferociously, both barely missing the other. Sidious has no time to talk to Anakin. To attempt to turn him over, all he can focus on is defeating him. However, this is not going to be possible. The Chosen One has arrived, eager to complete his destiny. Sidious attempts to use Force Lightning, but Anakin catches it in his non-dominant hand and walks closer to him. Sidious drops his blade and now uses both hands with lightning. However, this is not enough. Anakin marches forward and severs Sidious's wrists, does a quick spin and slashes his chest, ending the Sith Lord. The battle for the Jedi Temple continues. Clones and droids surround it from either side, hundreds of layers deep. Anakin sees a ship making his way towards him on one of the landing pads. He rushes towards it to see Bail Organa, who is asking what's going on. He explains the situation to him, everything from Sidious playing both sides of the war to the death of countless Jedi. Bail leaves and an emergency Senate meeting is called for, in which Bail takes charge. He explains to the Senate how Darth Sidious was a Sith Lord and controlled both sides of the Clone Wars. Of course, Palpatine's office disagrees with him, but the majority of the Senate side with Bail. He executes Order 65, overthrowing Palpatine, and has his office arrested. Now that Palpatine's power has been overturned, the clones cease following Order 66 and are now back under control of the Senate. When this happens, the clones feel like they've woken up from a bad dream, unaware of what has happened. All they can see are countless droids around them. They instantly band together and start attacking the droids. An all-out dogfight takes place. The sound of laser fire can be heard all throughout Coruscant. With the help of the remaining Jedi, the clones take the upper hand and eventually wipe out the droids on Coruscant. The remaining Jedi around the galaxy make their way back to the temple, and Yoda holds a meeting with the mere 700 Jedi left. But first, he must meet with Anakin and Obi-Wan. Anakin explains the events of what happened on Coruscant, the death of Mace to him defeating Palpatine. They thank Anakin for his efforts and explain how without him, the Jedi would be no more. Yoda offers for Anakin to rejoin the Order, and Obi-Wan pleads with him to accept. But Anakin explains how in his eyes the will of the Force is unknown. Both light and dark side have betrayed him. He tells them that he will remain on Naboo with his family and will not rejoin the Order. Anakin goes back to Padme and their kids on Naboo to explain what has happened. He further talks about how all the Force has ever done is take from him, both the light and the dark, how he has always been used for his power, which has only brought him pain. He looks Padme in her eyes and tells her he will cut himself off from the Force. The Jedi slowly rebuild the Order and continue their old practices. A large portion of Coruscant was flattened, so this takes some time. The Jedi Temple is completely rebuilt from the ground up. Bail Organa has assumed Supreme Chancellor, and the Republic slowly defeat the remainder of the Separatist forces. Palpatine's office was arrested and killed before they could initiate Sidious's plan of resurrecting him through the cloning process, so this never happens. The galaxy is at peace. Republic more united as ever. The next 20 years passed by fairly smooth. The Republic kept the clone army around to help deal with the crime syndicates, and eventually became somewhat successful. Crimson Dawn and the Black Sun were disposed of, but the Hutts remained. Seeing their potential downfall, the Hutts signed a treaty and joined the Republic, increasing the reach of the Republic into the Outer Rim. Only 3 council members, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Kit Adi-Mundi survived Order 66. Yoda is now reaching the end of his timeline and has spent the last few weeks in constant meditation. He leaves this and comes to one last council meeting with Obi-Wan, Mundi, and a few other of the recruits. He gives them one last speech to the council members, asking them to continue to trust in the Force as he leaves the chambers never to be seen again. Obi-Wan is chosen by the other council members and is elected as the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. The Republic slowly starts to phase out the clone troopers and begins to recruit humans and other beings. 2 of the Star Generals in the Republic Army were Han Solo and Din Djarin. Solo joined the Republic Academy after escaping the White Worm gang, and Din Djarin was a secret undercover agent working for the Mandalorians, led by Darth Maul. The Mandalorians had seen the Republic's weakness and sought to retake it. A large portion of their plan was to infiltrate the army, sending a very young Din Djarin to do this. He spent years training in their academy, fighting their battles, whilst remaining loyal to the Mandalorians. They secretly had been building up their army to take the Republic on. They did this unbeknownst to the Jedi and the Republic. They had assumed the Mandalorians were attempting to rebuild their government following years of civil war, but they were way past that under the leadership of Maul. During a Senate meeting, they received a transmission from Mandalore, led by Maul and his Death Watch. Maul declared war on the Republic and says their attack will begin immediately. The Jedi Council is immediately informed and joined the Republic military. If Mandalore wasn't led by Maul, they would leave it to the Republic army generals. Things have changed following Sidious's attempted takeover. However, the fact that Maul is on the Mandalore's side changes things. He has the dark side behind them, and the light is needed to balance this. Maul's goal was to take out the Republic with one swift strike. His anger and rage has sent him into arrogance and belief that he could topple the Republic completely. Mandalore sent hundreds of large ships to take out the core worlds one by one. In response, the Republic sends a fleet just as heavy to hit them head on. Leading this fleet are the two generals, Han Solo and Din Djarin, as well as plenty of Jedi, each leading one side of their forces. However, the Mandalorians were hoping for this. Their secret agent, Din Djarin, would help them easily win this fight to take over the Republic. Din Djarin has control over one half of the fleet and Han over the other, with various Jedi under their commands. The Republic is unaware that Maul had taken over Sidious's plan for the Death Star and somewhat adapted it with Mandalorian technology so that it would fit on a massive Star Destroyer. It doesn't have the ability to destroy planets, but can easily wipe out an entire fleet. Maul's army is also split in two, and the part of the fleet with these super weapons is hidden behind Onderon and is making its way past Kashyyyk. Din Djarin knows this and is willing to sacrifice himself to ensure Mandalore victory and sabotage his half of the Republic fleet. The other half of Maul's fleet is going directly from Mandalore to Coruscant. The Republic army only expects Maul to come straight from Mandalore. Din explains how they should meet Mandalore in the middle and remain at the boundary of the Inner Rim. They do this and sit up at this position waiting for Maul's fleet. However, the second half of Maul's fleet comes from behind Onderon, behind the Republic fleet, and fires upon them with their adapted Death Star cannon. With one strike, this takes out half of the Republic fleet. The remaining half turn around to face this super weapon, but as soon as they do, the other half of Maul's fleet from Mandalore comes out of hyperspace and fires upon the Republic army. They are caught between both sides. It is not long before the entire Republic army is destroyed. This is felt with a wave of darkside energy through the Force. Every Jedi in the Order feels this, and the Council moves to act immediately. They know what has happened. Maul has defeated the entire army and is heading straight for Coruscant. Obi-Wan addresses the Council. He explains how the Republic faces imminent death, and there is only one thing that can save them. They needed an army, an endless supply of ships, and there was one thing, hidden in the core of their galaxy, the Starforge. The Starforge was constructed by the Rakatan Empire 30,000 BBY and draws energy and matter from a nearby star, and when combined with the power of the Force, is capable of creating an endless supply of ships, droids, and other material. The Star Force was thought to have been destroyed, but this was another lie from the Jedi of the past and was hidden in the core of the galaxy for a time like this. Whoever used the Star Forge was corrupted by the dark side. However, Obi-Wan believed that as the Grand Master of the Order, he could not be swayed by this. Obi-Wan explains the plan to the rest of the Jedi Council and sets off alone for the Star Forge. He arrives and successfully activates it. The fleet of troops and ships produced is extraordinary. Obi-Wan has never seen an army this big. He sends them straight towards Maul's fleet, who is combined into one. His fleet was caught off guard. Maul felt the activation of the Star Forge through the Force, but did not expect this. The Mandalorians went into full attack mode. The battle raged on for hours, with the wreckage left over significantly hindering the vision of the battlefield. There was so much of it. Obi-Wan in his central ship can see his army getting the upper hand. He gets in his Jedi cruiser and heads straight for Maul's command ship. When he arrives, he is welcomed by many Death Watch, who he easily disposed of and makes his way to Maul. When Obi-Wan breaks down the door, Maul is shocked, not because Obi-Wan, a Jedi, was here, but the fact that he didn't sense the light side arrive. When he looks at Obi-Wan, he doesn't sense the light side of the Force. The two engage in battle, and this is obviously one-sided. Maul is no match for Grand Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan severs Maul's legs for a second time, and his torso lies on the floor. But Maul cannot help but laugh. Obi-Wan questions him, but Maul tells him that he already knows. Maul tells Obi-Wan that he's no longer a Jedi. The dark side has taken him. He tells him that there is nothing he can do. He is now a servant of the darkness. Before Maul can finish his sentence, Obi-Wan kills him. He uses the Force to grab Maul's blade and ignites it to see the deep crimson red glistening onto his face as his eyes turn a deep yellow. Please leave a like and let me know what you guys think and if you want a part 2.